Welcome to the Mersive Solstice Pod Gen 3 and version 4.0 training video. The purpose of this video is to provide you with a full understanding of the Solstice Pod Gen 3 platform, as well as the new software capabilities in the 4.0 version of Solstice, which was introduced at the same time as the Gen 3 pod. In this video, I'll cover all new features and capabilities, including how to enable, configure, and use the new functionality to get maximum value and ROI from Solstice. The Solstice Pod Gen 3, running the 4.0 version of Solstice, delivers the industry's most flexible, powerful meeting space platform capable of supporting a broad range of room configurations, use cases, and even better wireless streaming performance than previous versions of Solstice. The Gen 3 pod platform adds support for a wired content source via a new HDMI input, dual display configurations via two HDMI outputs, 4K Ultra HD displays, and PoE Plus to reduce cost and complexity in Solstice-enabled meeting spaces. The Gen 3 pod also features best-ever processing power for even more high-quality streaming, as well as a USB-C input that will support future innovations. The HDMI input on the front of the Gen 3 pod enables wired content sources to become a part of a Solstice collaboration session, providing guests and other occasional users who may not have network access or may have non-standard source devices such as Linux to collaborate with any content treated the same as other posts. The Gen 3 pod will automatically output a 4K signal when connected to a single 4K display. For a better user experience, Solstice goes beyond supporting 4K displays to support 4K Ultra HD wireless streaming. Therefore, 4K desktop and video content can be streamed to a Solstice display at native resolution and up to 25 to 30 frames per second in normal network environments. This is differentiated from most wireless presentation systems that may output a 4K signal, but don't support wireless streaming of 4K content sources. Note that when the pod is connected to two displays in dual display mode, the resolution of the output signal is limited to 1080p max for both displays. The dual HDMI outputs on the back of the pod support dual display configuration to expand the collaboration palette and enable even more content sharing in the collaboration session. Solstice supports three different options when the pod is connected to two displays. First, I'll walk through mirror mode, which is set as default. This mode is used when a pod is connected to a single display, but can also be used when a pod is connected to two displays and you want both displays to be mirrored and show the same content. Select Extend option if you'd like two displays to be treated as a single collaboration panel. In this case, content can be shared to both displays and move between them. Solstice intelligently knows where one display ends and the next begins, and will not break a content post across the two displays in this mode. The third display option is Seamless Extend, which is designed for bezel-less side-by-side display configurations, such as a bezel-less 2x1 video wall. In this mode, content will be posted across both displays as if they are a single seamless display. Please be aware that when the digital signage feature is enabled, only mirrored or single display mode is supported. Once you've enabled a display mode for your deployment, click Apply, and then connect and share content to your pod in order to validate the content sources appear as expected across both displays. To configure the dual display mode for your pod, open the Solstice dashboard. Select your pod or pods, navigate to the Appearance and Usage tab, and go to the Display Options setting. Here you can choose from the three display mode configuration options. Again, remember that the Gen 3 pods will output a 4K signal when connected to a single 4K display, but it will output a maximum of two 1080p signals when connected to multiple displays. When connected to a PoE Plus enabled Ethernet, the Gen 3 pod does not require a separate power supply, reducing costs and complexity in the meeting space. Now that I've talked about the components in the Gen 3 platform, let's look at how the Solstice version 4.0 software seamlessly integrates these new elements into the Solstice meeting experience, as well as other new functionality in Solstice 4.0. Although the Gen 3 pod delivers the best Solstice experience, 4.0 software updates are available for all Solstice pods and Windows Display software licenses with current Solstice subscription. Therefore, anyone with previous generation pods can easily update to version 4.0 with a current Solstice subscription. Let's take a look at the software-based features in 4.0 that are available for all Solstice pods and Windows licenses. Solstice Inc. allows users to wirelessly highlight and mark up displayed content from anywhere in the room using their smartphone. There are additional capabilities and updates, such as customizable welcome screen instructions, expanded language support, API updates and bug fixes, and local OTA update mechanism. Overall, these features deliver a more integrated user experience. Let's take a look at each of these features individually. Solstice Inc., a truly collaborative feature, was designed to increase meeting engagement and allow users to interact with meeting content in new ways. Solstice Inc. enables users to highlight and temporarily mark up content on the Solstice display from anywhere in the room by simply pointing and drawing with their smartphones. This feature is available in the mobile version of the Solstice app for iOS and Android devices and is also supported in moderator mode. Solstice Inc. is not supported on tablets. Solstice Inc. has 3 modes of use: pointer, pulse, and temporary markup. To use, first download the Solstice app on your mobile device. You'll see a red dot or ink button displayed in the Solstice app interface on your smartphone. Ink works by using movement of the smartphone itself. To use as a pointer, simply press and hold the red ink button. Users can also pulse with ink by tapping the ink button. You'll see a burst where your pointer is located to draw attention to a specific place on the display. To temporarily mark up content on screen, drag the ink button to the center of the screen, then press and hold the button to draw. Solstice will auto-smooth lines and complete circles, creating a sophisticated and creative environment. To exit ink mode, drag the ink button down to redock it. Now I'll show you how to customize your welcome screen instructions in the dashboard. First, select the pod or pods you'd like to update. Under the Appearance and Usage tab, use the Connection Instructions overlay options to hide the connection instructions, show them, or create customized instructions to appear on the display's welcome screen. For this example, I'll enable Custom Instructions overlay. When creating custom instructions, you can add up to 7 lines or 350 characters, and this supports both plain and rich text formats. You can also add a dynamic IP address to your instructions by including the network name in brackets, which will replace the string with the corresponding IP address. After you're done, click Apply and validate that the correct change was made on your display. With 4.0 software updates, Mersive added a new local OTA update method. If you'd like to learn more, visit mersive.com/updating-solstice. 10 additional languages are now supported in the Solstice Pod and Windows Display software, Solstice app, and Solstice dashboard. In addition to English, French, German, Japanese, Italian, Simplified Chinese, and Spanish, Solstice also supports Arabic, Danish, Korean, Norwegian, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Swedish, Turkish, and traditional Chinese. You can update the language from English in the dashboard under the System tab. Here, you'll see a drop-down with a full list of supported languages. Beyond how the new features and capabilities work, there are some other important changes to be aware of with the Gen 3 pod. The Gen 3 pod represents a significant step forward in platform robustness, and the Gen 3 pod is offered at a $100 price increase over the Gen 2i model. Additionally, with support for PoE Plus and based on the feedback that our HDMI cables are usually discarded, both power supplies and HDMI cables are sold separately. Mersive partners should refer to the latest price lists in the Mersive Partner Portal for up-to-date product offerings and pricing. Customers and other parties, please contact Mersive for more information about Solstice pricing. So, there are a lot of new features and capabilities introduced in Solstice 4.0 with the Gen 3 pod. To recap, the Gen 3 Solstice pod allows users to stream content from a 4K Ultra HD device without any loss of resolution. Wired input provides additional support for wired content sources. And dual display output allows users to share more content seamlessly. Solstice Inc. is available through the mobile version of the Solstice app and allows users to easily mark up content on screen, driving increased engagement and productivity. There is also expanded language support for better international support. Mersive is taking meeting collaboration and productivity to new heights. Solstice 4.0, combined with the Gen 3 pod hardware, provides the industry's most flexible, powerful meeting space platform, capable of supporting a broad range of room configurations and increased performance. Solstice version 4.0 is available for all Solstice pods and Windows Display software licenses with current Solstice subscription. Enterprise Edition licenses are needed in order to configure and use all dashboard-enabled features, such as customizable welcome screen instructions and local over-the-air updates. This wraps up our training module for the Solstice 4.0 and the Gen 3 pod. Thank you for taking the time to complete this training. Mersive is continually developing innovative features that are easily accessible to users with active Solstice subscription through a feature-rich software upgrade path. Please subscribe to our newsletter if you'd like to receive monthly communications from Mersive, which will include any future software updates.